I guess we're gonna have to.
Still has all these plans. She's trying to get me to go to Johannesburg, and like we're scheduled like 15 minutes to talk to me.
Every week I submitted my work, if you're a little snitch reports where I'm gonna get a violation of our whatever. Now you're shut, those people.
There may be something else there, but she hasn't so far. So super.
I just do every Dr. Cooper posting. We have negative 30 seconds. Nick, does it need to 40?
Yes. Yes.
Negative 27 seconds. Now negative 36 seconds.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Rtcweb meeting. This is our last meeting in North America.
Wow, that's aspirational.
For those of you who were not expecting that announcement, we're hoping to close this working group in Prague. So please get ready for the ride between now and Prague to involve you reviewing some documents, you applauding our document authors and editors, and you're generally speaking being ready to finish this up. So you're in Chicago. That's Chicago. So are you. If you're not meaning to be in Chicago or in the Rtcweb meeting, now would be a moment to head to the exits. This is the note well. If you don't understand the note well, please find your friendly neighborhood lawyer or your corporate lawyer, your choice, and have them explain it to you. Basically, if you don't understand it, getting up at the microphone, likely not a good idea. You may also find getting up at the microphone not a good idea in other circumstances. That's not the problem of the note well. The working group status update. Look, 2 thumbs up on draft Rtcweb overview going to the IESG. Woohoo! And we've had 2 working group last call versions of Rtcweb JSEP, which is our major topic for today. 2 thumbs up for the 2 new versions as well. Here's our agenda. Administrivia, you are here. Before we move on from here, guess what we're going to need? Note takers, jabber relays, possibly someone to meme the meeting. If you'd like to volunteer for any of these roles, please raise your hand now. Thank you very much. Jonathan has, and I'm carefully repeating his name into the recording. Jonathan is doing the jabber. Note taker. Come on, who wants to be the last note taker for Rtcweb in North America? Last one. You too can have a place in history.
Ted, if you can guarantee that this truly is the last time, I will do it.
Gonna get a hug? I don't know. You have my hand on it. Let me get to keep your hand and stop. No.
I'm not allowed to speak for the ISG, but I believe I can say with some certainty that if we're still going the next time we meet in North America,
we'll be drinking.
None of these chairs will be present, and I doubt any of you will be either. All right, so we have a jabber scribe, we have a note taker, and we have a plan to close the working group by Prague. Now, review dependencies. Colin, you want to get into the pink box, please?
So the good news of our dependencies is that list is about half the length that we were last the time, okay? And so most of the documents that we actually, normatively depend on across several groups have moved to the state of, pub requested or further along, which is really good. Let's see. Most of these are actually moving along quite well. I think the actual stuff in this working group, FEC and the IP handling stuff we'll be discussing later, or tomorrow, or Friday, I guess. And the other stuff's looking close to done. So next slide. That's the status of other things that we depend on that are not yet RFCs, but you'll notice that a crap load of those are in the RFC editor queue in the sense that they are approved and just basically blocked waiting for references. So once the rest of the stuff approves, the cluster from Area 41 will
No,
move
it's
along.
cluster 238. The RFC editor carefully gives these numbers. So if you're ever asked what's our blocking number, it's cluster 238.
Yeah, questions?
It's also worth pointing out that the RFC editor has been warned that this cluster is coming, and
They are well aware.
they are preparing.
They've seen my spelling. Okay, next slide. And that's where we are with dependencies.
There isn't another slide.
There's not another slide. But there are thank yous. Now, as you've all known for this week, we've been collecting various records and stuff for our exiting area director, who we would like to thank for putting up with us in this whole working group for so long. We have other things that might arrive later in the week, but in the meantime,
But we promise they will come in North America.
we thought you'd appreciate.
People can't see it. It's called the carrots. The next one is the stick. That's very touche. Yeah, I think I really needed actually the sticks more than I needed the carrots and the new job. Thank you. I will miss this working group dearly from the bottom of my heart. And good luck, Adam.
I have to remember how in this one I turn it into
View. And slideshow.
And then stop it playing. Yeah, at the very bottom.
Slideshow. All right.
So those of you who are in TLS will remember how woefully unprepared I was for that. Imagine how unprepared I am for this, given that I spent most of my time doing TLS slides. One of these slides I in fact only saw about 2 minutes ago. Exactly. Next slide. So we did 19. We're at 19. We had 18. You see how this works. There was a bunch of working class call comments. We made a bunch of changes. I'm here to summarize them. I don't believe I actually have any open issues to be open about, so I'm really summarizing. These things were some of these things were nominally clear in the list, some weren't. It's your job to figure out which ones. I will stop briefly after each thing to see if anybody is very upset. Next slide. We will not be discussing Appendix B. Appendix B has been by consensus of people who care, kicked over to MUsic merged into bundle and wordsmith there. So if you were hoping to see me and Magnus argue about RTP demuxing, you're in the wrong place. That will be some other time. So next slide. So there was some questions about these only things that said you should only do X or you should only do Y, and whether it was better to say them when they were meaningful and then stop saying them, or to say them constantly for no obvious reason. Due to some discussion on the list and some discussion by the editors, we concluded the right answer was that for consistency and also for simplicity, that you basically only said bundle only and mux only on new M sections. However, you do say the answer says bundle or mux, as the case may be, but it doesn't say only ever. This was concluded was the best thing to do, and this is what we have done.
Jonathan, I assume that's for the correct definition of new, which includes recycled?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Basically, if there is the right way to think about this is if there is actually some question about whether this thing could be treated differently, we will tell you, and if there is not, we will not. Next slide. Also in the bundle theme, I'm not sure if these are actually sorted by theme or just happen to be this way, but this is how they are. So there was this question appeared about how we should handle attributes that only made sense for media sections, like RTCP MUX, but that appeared in situations where you're bundling a media section onto a data section. So one way this is going to happen is if you start out by negotiating a data section, and so you have the data section completely negotiated, then you add, say, a video M line, but you wish to bundle it onto the you wish to bundle it onto the data M section. And I guess RTCP MUX isn't relevant, but there are others that are. And so we say otherwise that these media specific these transport identical attributes should only go on the thing that is being bundled into and nowhere else, but it's just kind of goofy that they're on the data section. We concluded that goofy was better than non-goofy, and so we should do that. There was an extensive discussion on the MMusic list about this topic, with I think Paul Kizovit being in the rough, but finally being beaten down and agreeing that we could do this. We will need presumably some text updates in a variety of documents, which we will notice in last call as we go forward, noticing that it says things that contradict this, but that was the way we did in JSEP with the plan that we would do that. All right then. Right. So in this case, the editor's folded. There's been a bunch of discussion about how it happened in cases where basically, say, the offer had offered A, B, C, and the answer had picked B. The JSEP spec previously said that at that point you were like could only do B and you couldn't offer C and A and re-add them, right? And this was intended to be simplicity, but apparently it made people sad because they had situations where they wanted to add them back. It's permitted by 3264, so we weren't like, we weren't doing anything goofy here by allowing it. So we changed that back. But the rule is you have to add them at the end, and the reason to add them at the end is to promote stability of the negotiated mechanism.
Jonathan, so it says you can. Who is the you, and is there and if it's the browser, is there a FROB for it?
There is no FROB for it. I don't believe. Huh? Oh, you're quite sure. Yes. So if it, I believe if you were the person who was responsible for removing it, then secondary preferences might have some effect. However, if the other person was, then it will not. So there's sort of half a FROB for it. You as the person making the offer at this point, no matter who was the original offer answer. Okay? No, something's not okay.
So I guess again, my question is, so what this is saying is that you can, even if the other guy rejected it, you can put it back. But now you're saying that since that offer has to come from the browser, I as the JavaScript have no way of actually causing that to happen. So I'm not sure.
So if the other guy rejected it, but you might have rejected it, right?
Yeah, if I rejected it, I can put it back. If the other guy rejected it,
then either the browser will or will not put it back, depending on its opinions, and you can't control it. Now, granted, if he put it back, you can take it out.
Okay.
And you can stop it. Well, so let's put it this way: if the browser does offer it, if the browser is the kind of browser that offers it, you can stop that from happening. What you can't do is make it do it. I guess what I would say is if you wish there were a FROB for that, you know where to go. And it is not here. Okay. I meant W3C. I didn't mean like but down below. Okay. This is my last working group of the day, and let's just say this AD thing is tiring. Okay, right. I think this is the one that actually, like, Cullen just added because I didn't know to do it. Right. So, right, we're now allowing you to do coding preferences and have them apply in the middle of the thing. As my colloquy with Bernard previously indicated, we didn't used to allow that. We thought about it for a while, concluded it would probably work. Now we allow it. That's about all I have to say about that. Right. Can't remember who raised this. Maybe it was Harold. Maybe it was Bernard. One of those two nitpickers. That basically what happens when an API call fails, and what guarantees you deliver. And let me tell you, as someone who actually wrote these things, the guarantees we really wanted to deliver were none. To quote the C standard, undefined behavior. But we eventually, after some drinking and coffee, concluded that really that wasn't very cool. And so it now says something that implementers are going to hate. I'm sure the people who are doing this code at Mozilla will come kill me later, which is that if these calls fail, you have to go back to the previous state. So it has to be basically as if the thing never happened. Yes, see, Nils is like, I can see Nils going to attack me. Yes. Nevertheless, we concluded that this is one of these things that's good for the JavaScript programmers and bad for the browsers, and that's the way it should be.
Right. Priority of constituencies. Martin Thompson. Yes, I'm pretty sure that Nils will kill you, but this is just adding to the pile, right?
That may be the case. He does know where I sit, unfortunately. Okay. Next slide. Is that really it? Wow, that was like pretty good, huh? We're like 16 minutes in. So I guess the question becomes now, are there any other issues anybody would like to raise about JSEP? Because if not, we will have held that you forfeited the right to raise those.
No, wait.
Wait.
First, we're going to ask anybody who wants to hold a hum now. Anybody who does not want to hold a hum now.
Wait.
We're just
Hold on, we're holding it anyway.
No, we're just trying to make sure you're paying attention here, right? Because in those 16 minutes, some of you drifted off. I could see yogurt being consumed. We're really at a serious moment in this, people, despite the attitude of all four of us in front. This was after a working group last call. After the second working group last call, this is the set of issues that was raised in the second working group last call. The authors and the chairs believe them to be all resolved. If you do not believe them to be all resolved, get me to a microphone now, or we will be putting this thing in pub rec very, very soon. Clear? I'm not going to have to cut my hand off and give it to Martin. Thank you so much.
So, Ted, I suggest you make the publication request now before anyone raises another issue.
So, I think in the interest, I will make it during the plenary tomorrow night.
Right.
Never mind. Never mind. Stop that man.
Krister, you rise in support of your colleagues from...
We can submit a new version before Wednesday night
without Annex B.
without Appendix B.
Without Appendix B. All right, so the queue is still empty. We will get a new version that does not have Appendix B so that it does not confuse our colleagues on the IASG when it appears. And other than that, you people in the room realize this is going to go to pub rec, right? I doubt I'll be sober enough to do that, but I'll see what I can do.
One hand on. Okay.
Okay, let us return to our agenda, which, Suhas, you're going to have to stall a good bit. I've seen your draft.
Is this the examples, Jeff?
Yeah.
Just read each line.
Yes. 40 minutes, sure. We can read all the examples live now.
All right, I don't. Well, that was interesting. Well, I've discovered that preview closes the wrong window if you press the button that says close window, but we'll see if we can do open recent. And
Okay. This is
eat the mic.
okay. Sure. Okay. This is for the STP examples draft, and I have this next slide. Sure. Yeah. We know like this is about trying to come up with some examples that uses JSEP and try to be as close to JSEP as possible in terms of STP construction. and it provides someone who is trying to read how the STP is used, some references to RFCs so that they can figure out how a particular part in STP is used. Next slide. Okay, what happened between 0.2 and 0.4 version? So 0.3 was just an update to the version because it was expiring. So 0.4 is the thing where a lot of things went in. So we, like Cullen had presented in IETF 96, a couple of open issues on how some of the identical and category and transport category attributes should appear in STP. And JSUP 19 kind of clarifies every of those things. So that's good. So we close all those open issues. And then we, JSUP 19 also explains about how we interact with legacy offers, like which has RTP AVP, but with a fingerprint. How to kind of take that as a DTLS SRTP. So that's clear as well. And a new addition that was added was to have DTLS ID for the offers and answers. That's added. And then one example has been added to also show how you use identity attribute in STP. Apart from that, a new addition that happened was we created an STP attributes checklist appendix. That what it basically does is it went through JSUP section 5 and compiled list of requirements that we feel the STP attributes in the example should match. So this was basically done so that we can align to JSUP 19. So right now, the summary is that we are very close to what JSUP 19 says. That's it. So the question for chairs is that, are we ready for working group last call?
So we got a very extensive review from Paul Kizivat, the previous version. Sorry, did you have a comment?
Yeah, just Martin Thompson, question for clarification. You said very close. Does that mean you need to do some more work? Because kind of very close doesn't help much.
Let me put it this way. For JSUP 19, it's exactly what JSUP 19 says.
Excellent.
So, yeah.
Ship it.
Yeah, I'm sure. I've read it some 8 to 10 times now. I can't read it more.
For which we're very sorry, but thank you.
Okay, so before we take this to working group last call, I would like 2 reviewers to go through it. This is actually pretty dense stuff. And I would like to have that level of assurance that somebody outside the author team has actually gone through these examples and read them. So, no, 2 more reviewers. Paul can review again if he wants, but I want 2 reviewers of the current version. So we have like 20 minutes of silence to fill. Your chairs will sit here and stare at each one of you until 2 hands go up, either electronically or in the room. Could you bring up the Jeopardy theme for us, please? No, I mean, if somebody puts their little hand up, we're willing to press the red button if what they're going to say is we volunteer to review. Oh, Nils, who's already going to be choking people to death, has volunteered. Thank you. Okay, so we need 1 more. You playing the home game, just enter the queue and we'll press the red button.
Justin did review it once before Paul, so probably it's a good person to review it again.
Hey, Randall Justin Mozilla. I can be roped into reviewing it. I've looked at it enough, or at SDP enough.
Let the note taker show that 2 volunteers from Mozilla have agreed to review this document and have the thanks of the working group for same. Thank you very much. That doesn't mean the rest of you are going to get off of it, because as soon as they put their review in, it's going to come to working group last call, which means you all get your whack. But this isn't going to wait till Prague. This one's going to go out for working group last call as soon as those 2 reviews are in and any issues which are raised by them are resolved. So expect this to be done on the mailing list between now and then. Everybody clear? Bernard says yes. Anyone else? Hold up your hands and do this. Yeah? Okay. Okay, so we can close now and return on Friday, or we can try and do Friday, depending on whether or not our speaker for Friday is available. The two documents we have for Friday are related to FEC and IP handling. Justin, are you on the call? Justin's calling in old school. Okay, given that, we will see you Friday, and you have the rest of your afternoon. I couldn't hear you.
I have at least 3 reasons to beat you.
No. I will have my 12-year-old read it aloud to you if you're willing to fund 1 year of his college education.
No, we'll just feed it into the Mac, into the Mac, reader, and Jonathan can listen to it. Yeah.
It will be automatically captioned from somebody standing and reading it aloud. And see whether the resulting captions are.
It also will read the ice packets that initiate the connection in hex.
The SDP might be more. Especially with fresh reading this word.
Some sort of service area.
Well, you all seem in stunned anticipation of your email or something, but I'm out of here. See you guys.
Bye.